Coming up on today's show, we are breaking down the secret weapon that Alabama is using on the scout team to prepare for Florida State. We're also going to be talking about one freshman who is vying for some playing time for Alabama this season. Before we get into all that, though, it is officially week 1 of the college football season, and we are doing a sub-battle this week between all of our college football channels here at Chat Sports. We started off pretty hot, but we are still number 2 amongst our college football channels. The Tennessee Football Talk is beating us right now, and the Ohio State Football Report is right on our heels. So I want to beat them. I want to get at least 50 new subscribers on this video today. So if you're watching the video and you are not yet subscribed to the Alabama Football Report by Chat Sports, get down there, hit that sub button, and stay up to date on all things Crimson Tide news. All right, the secret weapon that Alabama is using in their preparation right now for Florida State is going to be Jaylen Mbakwe. He has been playing on the scout team right now, giving that defense a look of what Tommy Castellanos might look like in this week 1 matchup against Florida State. And I think this is a very, very good plan for Alabama. You think about Jaylen Mbakwe back to his time at high school. You know, he was a very, very good athlete, had over 1,000 yards, 23 rushing touchdowns, but also could throw the ball a little bit as well. Had 2,000 yards in his senior year of high school. Now, there's a little bit of a difference. Jaylen Mbakwe is left-handed, so there's a little bit of a difference there, but you're just trying to simulate some of that athleticism that Tommy Castellanos is going to be able to bring to the table this week against the Crimson Tide. Deontay Lawson also mentioned that Jaylen Mbakwe's kind of been out there, shit-talking the defense a little bit, and I love that competitive atmosphere that they are really brewing right now in this Week 1 matchup. This is what Alabama's defensive coordinator, Kane Wommack, said about Tommy Castellanos at his press conference yesterday. He said, when you look at their quarterback and his body of work over the years, he's hard to bring down. He's a very shifty player. He can run. He's elusive in the pocket. He's got really good pocket awareness. His escapability is kind of all over the place, kind of hard to pin him down in that regard. Those are, I would say, things that we're just going to have to, work to we have our work cut out for us on that. So what is your confidence level in Alabama's defense against Florida State? Let me know down at the pinned comment of today's video. Get down there and scale it for me 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, you are terrified that he's going to run all over us, or 10, you think we're going to shut him down like we shut Leonard Fournette down a couple years ago. Let me know what you guys think down at the pinned comment of today's video. Now, I think the big thing about this game against Tommy Castellanos, on defense anyways, is everybody's just going to have to do their job. Castellanos is going to scramble, but, if you're one of those guys that are in coverage, you are going to have to stick on your man like glue. I wonder, too, how much they're just going to straight up put a spy on him, maybe one of those middle linebackers. I kind of have a feeling that if they were to do that, Justin Jefferson is probably one of those key guys at that middle linebacker spot to be able to put a spy on Castellanos. He is the quickest linebacker that Alabama has out there with Deontay Lawson and Nakai Hill-Green. I think the defensive line is also going to have to contain him inside the pocket, because if you allow him to either step up and, just go right up the middle for, scramble for first downs right up the middle, or get outside the pocket, he might end up cooking Alabama with his athleticism. The pass rush is also going to be key for the Crimson Tide in this matchup. Whether it's LT Overton or Quay Russaw, both of those guys are going to be big for Alabama in this ball game. Alabama last year was in the bottom half of the SEC in sacks, and they got close a lot, especially a guy like LT Overton. I think he had 39 pressures last year, but like you see right there, he only had 2 sacks on the season. Just could not find a way to, finish there. And I also think some of those interior guys on that defensive line, James Smith, Jeremiah Beeman, Jordan Renaud, those guys can also be key into getting some pass rush on Tommy Castellanos in this game. Get him flustered, I think, is a real big key for Alabama. Once you get some of that pass rush on him, get some pressure in his face, he is liable to make some mistakes out there as well. You've seen over the years, that touchdown to interception ratio for Tommy Castellanos has not been very good at all. So I think if Alabama can get some pressure on him, they can make him force some mistakes. And like we'll talk about in a second, Alabama has a loaded secondary that can force some turnovers as well. All right, we'll continue with one more freshman that is pushing for some playing time here in just a second. But today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Football is almost here, and college football is officially back. So don't miss any of the action this season on Prize Picks. I personally use Prize Picks for so many different kinds of sporting events, whether it's professional football, baseball, basketball, college sports, MMA, and so much more. Prize Picks is a ton of fun, and if you guys know ball, you can win real money all season long on Prize Picks. This is what we cooked up for the week 1 of the college football action. Ohio State versus Texas, going with Arch Manning. More than 1.5 passing touchdowns for our Alabama versus Florida State game. Going with a more than on an Isaiah Horton touchdown. Just needs a half a touchdown, so just need one in that regard, whether it's rushing or a receiving touchdown. Going with a more than on that. And then Ryan Williams' longest reception. He's good for a big catch at some point in this game, right? 28.5 yards for his longest reception. Going with a more than on that because life is too short to go with the less than. Prize Picks is super simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if you get your picks right, you could cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money today. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the Prize Picks app and use promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That link is down in the comment section and down at the pinned comment of today's video, as well as the description of today's show. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. Now, at yesterday's press conferences, Kalen DeBoer and Kane Wommack both said that they are very, very comfortable in putting a guy like Dijon Lee on the field with some of their starters. Kane Wommack specifically said that he was willing and considers him a starter on this Alabama defense. This is exactly what Alabama's defensive coordinator said. He said, credit to him, the way that he's been playing right now, I see him as a starter on our defense. He's really impressive. It's 2 years in a row now, right? We've had a young freshman that Mo Lindquist has done a tremendous job at developing that guy into being a starter level player for us. And so excited for Dijon Lee and what that does for our defense. You go over to what Kalen DeBoer said as well. He said, you have no problem putting him out there on the football field. I feel like Zabien Brown had that last year for us. There are other guys too. But when you specifically focus on Dijon Lee, he has had that. Even when he doesn't know what he doesn't know in spring ball, there was something about his presence and the way that he is. He is not about being, or it's not about being as tall or anything, but it's just about the confidence to go out there and to play. And that's just part of it. You've got to have that skill set, and he's done a great job being consistent from the first day that he got here during winter workouts to where we're at today. You keep throwing more and more on his plate, and he rises to the occasion. You feel very comfortable putting him out there on the football field. So I want to hear from you guys down in the comments section again. Will Dijon Lee play versus Florida State? Let me know what you guys think. Type Y for yes or N for no down in the comments section of today's video. Will Dijon Lee play versus Florida State? Like I said, this Alabama cornerback room right now is just absolutely loaded. And I just really don't know how they're going to be able to get Dijon Lee on the field. I mean, Domani Jackson and Zabien Brown are dogs. They're going to be your starters at that cornerback spot. Maybe they somehow get him on the field at that Husky position, but, really kind of thought Deshaun Jones was going to be the guy at that Husky spot right now. I think my big question here, too, is with Dijon Lee, does he play before a guy like Cam Calhoun? I think Cam Calhoun, what you saw in his time at Utah, he was graded out by PFF as one of the best coverage defensive backs in all of college football. So just to be able to get him on the field is going to be really, really tough, I think, for Kane Wommack. But he has shown in the past that he loves to go out there and mix and match and do different things, whether it's at that linebacker spot or at the defensive line spot. This is just going to be another challenge for him at this cornerback spot, getting a guy like Dijon Lee on the field. I mean, like I said, your starters are going to be Domani Jackson and Zabien Brown. After that, I guess there is a question mark, but, maybe they get him at that safety spot. I think that's a legitimate thing that they could do. We've been hearing things positively about Deshaun Jones, but at the end of the day, the best player is going to be out there. And I think Cam Calhoun also, last year at Utah, he played a lot at that nickel spot, which is basically the Husky spot in this defense. So I don't know how they're going to be able to do it, but like I said, you've seen Kane Wommack put a ton of different types of lineups out there on the field last year. I got confidence that they're going to be able to get Dijon Lee out there on the football field. So I want to hear from you guys. Who is more likely to play in this first game against Florida State? Type DL for Dijon Lee or type CC for Cam Calhoun?